is Cindy Ball, and I am a homesteader. I also am the founder and executive director of the National Ladies Homestead Gathering. This last weekend, I had the opportunity to speak in Ohio at the Food Independence Summit. It was an amazing conference for homesteaders. It was right in the heart of Amish country, beautiful this time of year. And I kind of wanted to give you a background on why this particular conference was so important to me personally. When I was first approached about speaking at this summit, I was going to be one of two women that were going to be speakers on the main stage. And the gentleman asked me if I would talk about homestead profitability and how to make money on your homestead, which I've done before. I have a talk about that with Mother Earth News. But in my heart, I felt like that's not the message that needs to be taught right now. Right now, it needs to be about community and people coming together in face-to-face communication with one another and like-minded people upholding one another in community, because I feel like that's where we are right now. There's so much knowledge that's out there about homesteading, but this, how to be in community, I feel like there's not so much information about that. So when he asked me if I would talk about homestead profitability and how to, build a business and run a business on your homestead, which I'd done for almost 20 years, in my heart, I really felt like it needed to be about community. So I asked him, I said, is there any possibility we could talk about something else? And he was like, sure, what is it? And I said, in my heart, I just feel like we need to be doing more talking about community and people coming together in face-to-face local community. Because if you have an emergency on your homestead, you want somebody who lives 10 minutes away to come and see you and to help you. But if they live clear across the country, they're not going to be able to come and get there. So, or if it's somebody you have met virtually, more than likely they're not going to be able to come and help you in a crisis or in an emergency. So that's really where my heart is. He agreed. And he said, yes, let's go ahead and talk about community. And then I realized what a thing I had said, because I was going to be in Amish country and many Amish or Mennonite people were going to be there at this conference. But I really felt strongly about it. And so I went ahead and prepared my talk. And the title of it is The Benefits of Authentic Community. So that's how we got to this point. I was honored, thrilled. What a privilege to be able to speak on this stage with people like Joel Salatin and Justin Rhodes and Sarah Plain and Tall. A lot of big names were on that stage, and gosh, it was a privilege. It was a privilege for sure. So I'm going to show you some snippets of the talk that I gave. I basically gave my story and how much my community was instrumental in helping me get through the really hard times from 2018 to 22. Really intense times was 2018 to 2020, when I had to sell my farm in Georgia, my homestead. So this is that Food Summit conference. It's the first time that I have shared my story publicly. It was hard. I was nervous, but I felt ready. Weird as that is. Yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. Definitely pit in my stomach, all that kind of stuff. And the crazy thing is, I left here in Bozeman at 7 a.m. to fly to Dallas, and then Dallas to Cleveland, Ohio. And I was supposed to get into the airport like 4:45, something like that. And I thought, perfect. It was an hour to the Airbnb. We ended up leaving almost 5 hours after we were supposed to. So by the time I got to Cleveland and got the bus, the shuttle over to where they have the rental cars, there was a line at Dollar Rental, and I got one of the last cars out of there. And then from there, it was an hour drive to the Airbnb. So by the time I got into bed that night, it was midnight. And Tuesday, the day before I left, I actually had worked a 15-hour day here at the ranch because of all the activities that were going on that day. I woke up, so that would have been Thursday morning, and we got ready, went over to the event, and the stage was huge, like huge. And I said, how many people are you expecting for this? And they had enough seats set up for 2,000 people, and there were probably about 1,500 people that were seated there. So yeah, a lot of praying that I had done before I got up on stage, and it went well. I was grateful. I had a strong message in my heart that I wanted to get out there. And it wasn't just my story, even though that was the first time I had told it publicly, but it was how important community is and the coming together. It was how the National Ladies Homestay Gathering began and how it grew and where it is today, and what I have seen the benefits of being in authentic community. So I'm going to go ahead and share just snippets from the talk. My friend Miranda took these little clips for me, and I was grateful because then I could share some of them here. So without further ado, here is the Independent Food Summit in Ohio.
I began my homesteading journey in a small suburban neighborhood just outside of Seattle, Washington. Our houses were so close together, you could almost touch the side of the next house beside you. And in the early 1990s, because that's when I started, granola was in. So in Washington State, most everybody was granola, so my homesteading weirdness was not that evident. And then after 2 years, we had the opportunity to move to Georgia, to the south. And I was thrilled because we got our dream farmhouse and almost 7 acres of land. There had to be more to this homesteading than trying to do it all by myself. And the loneliness was the thing. I just had to figure out, like, where was I going to find these women? To raise my children to be outside, to work with their hands, and that learning didn't stop in a classroom, but that learning was always, every day. And so, agricultural state, how is it that these kids don't know all this already? It had skipped a couple of generations. And so I started doing these classes, and the women that were coming in were so hungry to know our ends. Because what happened with the connection was friends told friends told friends. I was getting phone calls and emails saying, hey, I heard about your group. It's an amazing place to heal. Every time I look outside my cabin window, I'm right in the middle of the Rockies. And it's like, there the Lord is. I will shelter you. I will keep you. I will protect you. My grandchildren. By the end of this year, I will have 9 grandchildren. And I am truly blessed. Yes. I know, right? That's a celebration. Need for community. We are social creatures. We thrive in community with being with other people. As much as you get out of your community is what you invest in your community. And the biggest investment you can make is being vulnerable. I was watching.
But we have
Smile.
show your merchandise.
Let's go. Come on. Good. You're good. Good. All right. So, take this and pull it forwards. Knock it with your knuckle. And you have candy.
1856, they decided that all these farmers are making milk and we can't get it into the cities because now we have cities. We can't get the milk from the farmer to the city. So he decided to can milk. Might be
Hi.
If you're familiar with her hug, you know, that's what these cones are. These cones do the hug.
And then your basic tubers will grow out the sides of those, and so a really big turmeric plant will have.
They're beautiful. So cute. Very sweet.
That's where we're at. But yeah, you can find Red Chip. You can connect with us online. You can sign up for our newsletter.
Hi. Do you think I have something?